الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونستعينه ونستهديه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي المقصرة أولا بتقوى الله، فاتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ثم أما بعد. All praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful, and the best of His peace and blessings shall be bestowed upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we live in a world that is full of surprises, full of confusion, full of events. Indeed, it's a very eventful era. And every time we're faced with a new incident, we all try to make sense out of it. We all try to analyze and understand, because whether we like it or not, we live in a small world. Anything that happens anywhere across the globe will one way or another influence us. Doesn't matter where we are. This is the nature of the world we live in. We all heard about the incident that took place in Turkey last week. A week from today was last Friday. It was very surprising the way it started and the way it ended. And subhanAllah, I'm going to try my best today, inshallah, to share with you some reflections. Hopefully it will help us understand this event and make use of it. Looking in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us in many surah about the story of Musa alayhi wa ala rasulina salatu wassalam. And indeed it's an indication that there are a lot of learnings in his story with Pharaoh and in his story with Bani Israel. A lot of learnings for us. We want to focus today when Musa alayhi wa ala rasulina salatu wassalam went to meet Pharaoh. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered him to go ask him for something. And he asked him for فَأَرْسِلْ مَعِيَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَلَا تُعَذِّبْهُمْ. He wanted the children of Israel, which back then, at that time, if I'm not mistaken, they were in the population was about 600,000, if I'm not mistaken. Allah. So here is Musa alayhi salam going to Pharaoh, a ruler of the land, the governor of the land. And he's asking him to take a portion of his population. Looking at it from outside, it could be perceived as a struggle for power. Because part of his power as a ruler is his people. Without people, there's no power. There's no government. So Musa alayhi salam is asking Pharaoh to give him a portion of his people. It will make sense that Pharaoh will feel threatened, someone who wants to share power with him, or to take away his power. So Pharaoh asked him, in the famous story in Surah Taha, فَمَنْ رَبُّكُمَا يَا مُوسَى, and then he asked him, قَالَ فَمَا بَالُ الْقُرُونِ الْأُولَى قَالَ عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي فِي كِتَابٍ لَا يَضُلُّ رَبِّي وَلَا يَنْسَى. When Pharaoh started asking Musa, because he wanted to know who is this guy, I mean, he knew Musa, right? But he wanted to know what happened here. Why are you coming? Are you threatening my throne, my power, my authority? You want to take my people or part of my population? Then he asked him, who is your Lord? And what's behind your request? Sayyidina Musa answered that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest, the creator. And then he mentioned something really important. He starts talking about al-ard, where he said, الذي جعل لكم الأرض مهدا وسلك لكم فيها سبلا. My Lord is the one that made earth livable for all of us. وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به أزواجا من نبات شتى. And he gave us sustenance, he gave us food. كلوا وارعوا أنعامكم إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. Sayyidina Musa is talking to Fir'aun and explaining to him that this earth is given to us by Allah, made livable, gave us food. For whom? Not for you, Fir'aun. You don't own it. You did not create it. The owner is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lesson number one we need to know. The owner is the creator of earth is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Huwa waliyun ni'am. He gave us the sustenance, the food, the shelter. No person on earth can claim ownership of earth. So rulers and governments, they're not owners of the land or owners of earth. They have a different mission, a different job. So Musa alayhi salam made it clear in the beginning of this negotiation that this earth is not for you. Everything on it, you did not create it. It's for everybody. It's for people to live and prosper as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would for them to do. And then as Musa was trying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَقَدْ أَرَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا كُلَّهَا فَكَذَّبَ وَأَبَى. Musa was trying to convince Fir'aun peacefully in a negotiation that we can share this. He showed them the sign after sign. We all know the signs of Musa alayhi salam, but Fir'aun rejected, refused. His focus was not simply on people. His focus was on himself. His focus was on power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, after Sayyidina Musa said, or after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, وَلَقَدْ أَرَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا كُلَّهَا فَكَذَّبَ وَأَبَى. What did Fir'aun say? قَالَ أَجِئْتَنَا لِتُخْرِجَنَا مِنْ أَرْضِنَا بِسِحْرِكَ يَا مُوسَى. Did you come to drive us out of our land? أَرْضِنَا, our land. Again, ownership. Are you coming here to drive us out of our land? بِسِحْرِكَ, with your magic? Although what did Musa alayhi salam come with? He came with khayr. He's talking about the goodness for people. He's talking about sharing earth, sharing wealth, sharing prosperity, the advancement of all humans. And Fir'aun is going back to say, you're coming to drive me out of my land? Again, you're going back to the struggle of power. You're coming to rule my land? And you're using magic. Magic is what? Illusion. Basically, you're lying to people. You're showing them that something is good, but in essence it's not. Because you want to serve your own purpose. قَالَ أَجِئْتَنَا لِتُخْرِجَنَا مِنْ أَرْضِنَا بِسِحْرِكَ يَا مُوسَى فَلَنَأْتِيَنَّكَ بِسِحْرٍ مِثْلِهِ. If that's what you want, we shall fight you. We will get you even stronger and more powerful magic. Because he knows that his work is magic. And a lot of governments on earth these days, we know that their work is magic. They always claim to be working for people. They always claim to be helping people. They always claim to have people in mind, the weak and the poor, the young and the old. They always claim that they want to give prosperity, that they've done this project for the people and that project. And the people are tired. The people are weak. And they're the only ones that are reaping benefits and money and wealth and power. And the people are dying. This is what muluk, this is what all the rulers that are not focused on their people do. They're sahara. They claim that they want to do everything good, but in essence there's absolutely nothing good in what they do, and most likely it's harmful to the people that they rule. فَلَنَأْتِيَنَّكَ بِسِحْرٍ مِثْلِهِ فَاجْعَلْ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكَ مَوْعِدًا لَا نَخْلِفُهُ نَحْنُ وَلَا أَنْتَ مَكَانًا سُوًى. Let's meet, let's challenge. So he calls Musa alayhi salam for a challenge, and he set the challenge. قَالَ مَوْعِدُكُمْ يَوْمُ الزِّينَةِ. He set the date and the time for the challenge. Then what did Fir'aun do? فَتَوَلَّى فِرْعَوْنُ فَجَمَعَ كَيْدَهُ ثُمَّ أَتَى. Then Fir'aun goes, collects his power. The media, the finances, the businesses, all of his power collects it together so he can crush Musa alayhi salam, who's coming for what? For the goodness of human being, for the betterment of human being. But the other party is fighting for power, and they have means. So he collects his power and he comes to meet Musa alayhi salam. What does Musa say? قَالَ وَيْلَكُمْ لَا تَفْتَرُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا فَيُسْحِتَكُمْ بِعَذَابٍ. He said, people, wake up, what are you doing? Do not lie. Do not lie to people. I'm here for the goodness of people. I'm not here to fight over power or do anything bad. My focus is on people. Let's all work together. He's trying to the last moment to convince them that we can work together. If we all have the same focus, which is helping and benefiting humanity. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنِ افْتَرَى. And the ones that are lying will be the losers. It's a given. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, doesn't matter how powerful you could become, how good you can make yourself look through your PR and your money. But if you're bad, if your goal is to just overpower others, steal the wealth and the resources of others, you will end up being the loser. Even if it takes a long time, it will definitely lead or reach that destination. فَتَنَازَعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ وَأَسَرُّوا النَّجْوَى. They started discussing, what can we do with Musa? What is the best way to attack? And the beauty of their discussion is something that, subhanAllah, we see happening up to this day. So Fir'aun and his team, they're discussing, قالوا إن هذان لساحران يريدان أن يخرجاكم من أرضكم بسحرهما ويذهبا بطريقتكم المثلى. They said, these two guys, Musa and Fir'aun alayhim salam, so this is their PR now. This is their story now. This is their narrative now. These two guys are magicians, they're liars. Demonize the person that's trying to do good. Immediately, they're liars. They want to drive you out of your land. They're just looking for power, that's all what they're looking for. And what? وَيَذْهَبَا بِطَرِيقَتِكُمُ الْمُثْلَى. Because they don't like your way of life. They're enemies of your great values. How many times have we heard they're enemies of our values? They don't like our values. We have the best way on earth for living. But these guys, these losers, magicians, they don't like our values. Al-Muthla, tariqatikum al-Muthla, it's the best way of life. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described it. So they claim that they're coming to serve people and help people, but they come back and say, they're just magicians, you want to take over power because they don't like our way of life. SubhanAllah, 1400 years ago, and Sayyidina Musa, thousands before that, same narrative, same story used when what we see as a perceived struggle of power. The ones that are looking for power will always use the same argument and will never change. فَأَجْمِعُوا كَيْدَكُمْ ثُمَّ أْتُوا صَفًّا وَقَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْيَوْمَ مَنِ اسْتَعْلَى. Let's regroup. Let's get our teams together and we will be the victorious. قالوا يا موسى إما أن تلقي وإما أن نكون أول من ألقى. Start the challenge. Do you want to throw? Do you want to show us your power? Or should we go first? قال بل ألقوا فإذا حبالهم وعصيهم يخيل إليه من سحرهم أنها تسعى. You go ahead and start. So Fir'aun and his team started the challenge. His magicians, as we all know the story, they start throwing their ropes and their sticks. And the ayah, another surah, سحروا أعين الناس. They were able to manipulate people. They were able to create illusions and delusions to make people believe that the ropes and the sticks that are completely not harmful to appear like it's a very harmful thing, which is the illusion that we all live in. When they put the emphasis and they manipulate our minds on things that are silly, we get what happens to us is what happened to Sayyidina Musa alayhi wa salatu wassalam. فأوجس في قلبه خيفة موسى. Musa got scared. He felt some fear when he saw, or it appeared to him, that the ropes and the sticks are snakes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped him to be steadfast and held his heart. قُلْنَا لَا تَخَفْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْأَعْلَى. A message to every believer, a message to every person focused on the benefit of humanity, on peace and justice, on prosperity and development. لا تخف إنك أنت الأعلى. Don't get afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't fear anything. You are the one that's going to be victorious. You're the one that has the higher status. Why? Because you're focused on others. Because you're focused on benefiting people. We keep saying that our religion is based on benefit and harm. If you're here, if you want to benefit others, you are the one that's got the high status, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. But the ones that are focused on harming others to their own benefit will end up being the losers. قُلْنَا لَا تَخَفْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْأَعْلَى وَأَلْقِ مَا فِي يَمِينِكَ تَلْقَفْ مَا صَنَعُوا إِنَّمَا صَنَعُوا كَيْدُ سَاحِرٍ وَلَا يُفْلِحُ السَّاحِرُ حَيْثُ أَتَى. Go ahead, show them what you got. What is Biyamin Musa alayhi salam? In his right hand he had his stick that was given to him as a tool from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is in your yameen? Good values, Quran. What do you have in your yameen, in your right hand, to face these rough times? Are you ready with your understanding of your deen, your values, your skills, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you? We need to be ready so we can face such harsh times. فألقي السحرة سجدا قالوا آمنا برب هارون وموسى. At the end of it, who was the victorious? As we know, it was Musa alayhi wa ala rasulina salatu wassalam. Fir'aun did not accept it. He still rejected it. But for that story, Musa was the victorious. The focus on helping and serving people for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would definitely make us and make those that are walking this path the victorious ones. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولكم فاستغفروه لا يفوز المستغفرون. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. So what happened to Musa alayhi salam and Bani Israel? After this incident, we all know the story. Musa was able to leave with Bani Israel, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-A'raf told us, قال موسى لقومه استعينوا بالله واصبروا إن الأرض لله يورثها من يشاء من عباده والعاقبة للمتقين. Nabiullah Musa, as informed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is talking to Bani Israel where they were weak. abused. What was their condition at the time of the governance of Fir'aun? Under Fir'aun's rule, they were abused. They were struggling. They were suffering. They were tortured. Males were killed. They were enslaved. They were in a very difficult situation, thinking this will never change. We don't have the capability of changing this condition. However, Musa alayhi salam is telling them, be patient. Hold tight to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and know, again, inna al-arda lillah. Know that this earth is for Allah who created it. He's the owner. No human being can claim ownership. Attach your heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the owner and the creator. يُورِثُهَا مَن يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. And if you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be able to live a good life. You will inherit earth as described by the Quran. Why do you want to inherit earth? Because you don't want rulers that will abuse you and hurt you and harm you. So you will inherit a good life, which is what every human being looking for. وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. العاقبة عاقب الشيء آخره. Al-aqiba is the end result, the consequences. Who's going to win at the end? Al-ibra fil khawatim. Who's going to win at the end? Al-muttaqin. Those that will be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those that will serve humanity. Those that will focus on the well-being of the people. These are the ones, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described, that will be winner. In another ayah, وَأَوْرَثْنَا الْقَوْمَ الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا مَشَارِقَ الْأَرْضِ وَمَغَارِبِهَا. Those that were abused, they were weak, we've made them inherit earth. So the condition might change from complete abuse, complete weakness, complete harm to the inheritance of earth, the inheritance of good life. It happened over and over. It happened between Bani Israel and Fir'aun, who was a taghiyah. And they were so weak. And it will happen to those that will focus on the right thing on earth. And another ayah, وَأَوْرَثَكُمْ أَرْضَهُمْ وَدِيَارَهُمْ وَأَمْوَالَهُمْ وَأَرْضًا لَمْ تَطَئُوهَا وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Talking to the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That also with patience, focus on the right thing, on serving others, you will inherit the good life that you're looking for. So in essence, there's no such a thing for the good people. There's no such a thing for, in our belief as Muslims, to struggle for power, to fight for power. It is clear, because our goal is not power. Our goal is the good life on earth that, as we said before, based on development, prosperity, health, education, finance, economy, good life, and on justice. This is the focus of good people. And this is the focus of people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't seek power. They don't struggle for power. They do the right thing and they inherit. And it's a very normal concept, by the way, that we see for those of you in business. You see all the time that the good companies that focus on doing the right thing will end up rising. Will end up inheriting the good reputation, inheriting the business, inheriting the benefits, because they focus on the right thing. Not because they struggle just to be powerful or to rule out others or to hurt their competition. These are your principles, dear brothers and sisters. You Muslim, these are your principles. And this is what we have to live by. subhanahu wa ta'ala also spoke about tamkeen, the idea of tamkeen, and the idea of having control over what you deal with. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Kahf talked to us about Dhul Qarnayn, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّا مَكَّنَّا لَهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave tamkeen to Dhul Qarnayn, the righteous man that's mentioned in the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him tamkeen. التمكين in the best explanation as explained by العلماء إعطاء الإمكانيات وتمهيد الأسباب. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the tools and the capability to do whatever they want to do. And when we look at the stories, what did Dhul Qarnayn do? He went around helping people. He went around spreading goodness. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the tools and the power and the authority to help and serve. Same thing with Yusuf alayhi wa ala rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Nabiyullah Yusuf. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. We've given Yusuf the tools and the means and the capacity and capabilities. Why? Because Sayyidina Yusuf, as we all know, who was he working for? Who was he helping? Was he seeking power when he became the minister? No, he wasn't. He was helping the people of Egypt to go through their hard times of the story that's famous and we all know about it. He was working to help others, to serve others, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the means and the tools to even do more and help more and offer more. In the following ayah puts a beautiful end to this discussion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ra'd, again starting by talking about earth in ayah 17, أنزل من السماء ماء فسالت أودية بقدرها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has released water from sky to earth. And this water, sail. A sail is a motion of rivers that resembles power, resembles continuity. The water is gushing down like rivers. What happens to this water? And it will go to valleys, will fill those valleys. فَاحْتَمَلَ السَّيْلُ زَبَدًا رَابِيًا. However, this good thing, water that's coming to earth, to benefit people, when it hits earth and starts flowing, something natural will happen to it. A zabad will go over the water. A zabad is the harmful substance that comes out when you have a mixture of other substances. For example, when you have water gushing through valleys, you got dirt, little pieces of wood that will go on top of the same, on top of this river. So sometimes what happens, even the good movement might be I don't want to say overpowered, but it will perceived that there's something big. Zabad, also Zabad al-Bahr, when we look at the sea, you will see this big bubbles on top of it that looks big, but it's actually nothing. And it's on top of the sea. And as Ba'al Ulama said, rahmatullahi alayhim, it will look like it overpowers the good. So the bad looks like it overpowers the good. This is the resemblance. And it looks big and it looks scary, but it's nothing. With one stroke of your finger, you can get rid of it. So this zabad will ride on top of the sail, and it will be perceived as powerful and harmful. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the rest of the ayah, فَأَمَّا الزَّبَدُ فَيَذْهَبُ جُفَاءً. But don't worry, this zabad, this harmful substance that appears scary to you, this ruling of injustice, سَيَذْهَبُ جُفَاءً. It will be thrown away. Jufa will be thrown away. It's not going to last forever. not going to last forever. If it's based on injustice, harming people, it looks big, it looks scary, it looks powerful, it's not going to last forever. سيذهب جفاء وأما ما ينفع الناس فيمكث في الأرض كذلك يضرب الله الأمثال. And the good thing that will benefit people. Again, back to the harm and benefit. وأما ما ينفع الناس فيمكث في الأرض. But whatever is benefiting people will remain on earth. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created earth for the benefit of people. Not for the benefit of a party or a benefit of some greedy people or the benefit of corporates. They may appear powerful and strong. They may intimidate others. But earth created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not made for that. It's made for everybody to benefit. For the weak and the poor and the strong and the old and the young. For all of us to have good life. And it will happen, inshallah. Humanity will have a good life. It doesn't matter how disastrous it looks. The good thing will remain. And we end with congratulating our brothers and sisters, our fellow humans in Turkey, for making the right choices. Making the right choices of protecting the good life that they have. And when you think about it, you know that their government started by benefiting them. We all know what happened to Turkey in the last 13 years. We all know that the average income grew from $2,500 to $10,500, huge jump in 13 years. We know that the economy was boosted 5% annually, growing. The number of universities built, free education, prosperity, health, infrastructure, peace. A lot of good things were delivered to the people of Turkey from their rulers. We're not praising anybody or glorifying anyone. We're looking at benefits. They were benefited greatly in every aspect in life. Developments, benefits, goodness. And when that incident happened, someone tried to come and fight them for power. It was clear that it was a power struggle. Where did the tamkeen go? What did the people of Turkey choose? They chose benefit. Especially that they know from history that such coups will come with nothing but harm and control. They've seen it before. They chose benefit, and benefit remained in Turkey. We congratulate him, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us choose the right thing and help us follow the path of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us develop and spread prosperity for all humanity. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to empower us so we can protect the right thing and always do the right thing. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless and shower us all with His mercy. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our children, protect the weak ones across the globe. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our brothers and sisters that are suffering in Syria, Palestine, Egypt, and Iraq, and Sham, in Pakistan, in Kashmir, wherever they exist. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to alleviate their pain and suffering. اللهم لك يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم واستغفروه يغفر لكم والله يعلم ما تصنعون قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم